Okay, so I'm still experimenting with this new Twitch broadcaster program, and I'm using it to record this video. In any case, I played a few games of Enchanter Jungle recently, and I was playing Taric Jungle and loving it. So we don't have a Taric Jungle replay today, but we do got some Senna and some Lulu Jungle games we can show off. So I'm gonna start playing this in ranked, of course. That way I'll have something besides just Kane to play for jungle. Um, of course, if I end up getting support, then I can also play them in the support position pretty well, so that'll be nice. I feel like I'm doing pretty good as support and jungle on all four of these picks that I just mentioned. So, now, I will say that out of the four, Kane hasn't hit Mastery 7 yet, but I think he would have if I didn't just leave like everyone at Mastery 5 for forever until like at some point after, or partway through last season, I was starting to get frustrated with people because I was thinking there's got to be some way to get them to like not like give up, and I figured one of the ways you could maybe have them not give up could be basically just looking better to them. In other words, like having a Mastery 7 champion in theory would make people more confident in you as an ally, blah, 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 whatever. So, anyway, I have 3 Mastery 7 champions and a bunch of Mastery 6 now because I had so many Mastery 6 tokens just sitting around not getting used, so I used them all up. Well, whenever I had 2 of them at least, anyway. I only have 1 Mastery 6 token for Jen, so he's not Mastery 6 yet. I haven't bothered to grind for another one, but I probably will sooner or later. Anyways, yeah, right now I'm trying to get like Lux and Kane to Mastery 7. Like they should have been there already, but anyway, I've not been playing them as much as Senna. I haven't really been playing a particularly high amount of Lulu. Actually, to be honest, when it comes to Kane, well, I should say Lux I haven't been playing as much of lately. Lux actually has less mastery points than Kane does at the moment, but I still played lots of Lux before mastery points were even a thing, so I would argue if mastery points were retroactive, then I should have more mastery points on Lux than I do on Senna, for what it's worth. But anyway, so yeah, I haven't tried Lux Jungle yet. I'm not sure if it would be any good or if I'd like it or whatever. I think Senna can be a little bit vulnerable to invades if she goes lethal tempo or whatever. But I think if she goes fleet footwork, she's significantly less vulnerable to invades. So if you do feel like you're taking this pick and if you feel like you're not performing because you get invaded too much, you could consider grabbing lethal tempo to have some healthier clearing. Anyway, I do feel like with my current strategy, I think her clearing is kind of slow compared to Lulu's. Not gonna lie. I've jungled with champions where it's slower still, so it's nothing to cry home about, but anyway. Unfortunately, this Mundo is too much for me to handle. Our Vex did try to help, though, but unfortunately she paid for it. Nasus, on the other hand, was just farming his Q, just in his own little world, while Mundo, from his lane, got work done. So this game actually wasn't going particularly well for me, but like we were off to a pretty rough start. Right now she has like double my camp score, or whatever you want to call that. So, looking pretty bad at the moment, but with these enchanter picks, it's not about your clearing speed, although I will say that Lulu's speed is not, although it's not like hyper competitive like Kane's, not even close, it's still like at a point where you would consider it, a decent clearing speed. Like it's a little bit below average for competitive jungling clearing speeds. Let's put it that way. So if it's important to you to have fast clearing speed, uh, definitely don't go Senna, and possibly consider not going Lulu. But I think the Lulu's lack of clearing speed is very slight compared to Senna's. So, and of course, as Senna, like honestly, if you're trying to do this because you think it might be good for her absolution stacks, then you're gonna be disappointed as well. Because like I feel like it takes her too long to get the stacks that she needs. For like if you were to like say for example try to rush Infinity Edge or avoid Quick Blades. So I took a Caitlyn hit, and then almost picked up a kill here, but then she ambushed me. So that was very unfortunate. I think Nami was still alive and could have helped me secure the kill, and I was really upset about that. But it didn't necessarily make it impossible for us to come back, so it's just whatever. Anyway, Nation goes for a gank on her, so other than a Nasus, like Evelyn's just kind of like wrecking everybody's day. On our team, at least, I mean. So she has like 50% more camps than me right now. So that kind of sucks. Where am I on the map at the moment? So I think I was like harassing the enemy. I'm not sure how good my decision making is on her at the moment. I mean, this is only like my my third, fourth game or something like that with Senna Jungle. Second at the absolute most. I haven't really played it very much, so I don't know. So, but yeah, the grouping up with the dragon is kind of an interesting situation. So people can line up for a Q heal, but we kind of need to Q the dragon though if you want to kill it faster. So they could have lined up a little bit better, but man, this fight was really good though. I kind of wish we could use like different speeds between 1 and 2 times. Like 1.25, 1.5, and 1.75 would be awesome speeds to have. I don't know why we need times X or times 4. That just seems way too fast, if you ask me. Like, if you really need to jump ahead, just click on the timeline. We don't need those faster speeds. Anyway, that's just my opinion. We do actually get 0.5 and 0.25. I don't know why we don't get a 0.75, but I don't really care too much. What I really want is the decimals between 1 and 2 times. I feel like that would be amazing. Because I feel like 2 times is always too fast unless you really want to go fast, which you might as well just use the timeline if you ask me, but what do I know? Anyway, I guess it depends. If you don't mind missing minor details, then I guess you can do that. Actually, I think this Nautilus skin is really interesting because it reminds me of Chandelure from Pokemon. Looks a lot like Chandelure to me. Anyway, so I'm going for this Rift Herald, but then I think Evelyn actually manages to steal it. Yeah, by the time I realize that she's even here, it's like, oh goodness. We're able to kill her though, but then Mundo ends up killing me, so that was unfortunate. So by this time, I do have 7 assists, which is a pretty decent amount. So I have 8 takedowns. So I still have over 2.0 KDA at the moment. But, you know, the 1-3 by itself really doesn't look that great, but that's okay. Only slightly behind Nami's KDA right now. So Nami's doing pretty good. And at this moment, there's only one dragon that has been taken, and it was taken by us. So, even though Evelyn's been running all over the place killing people, she's been a very opportunistic killer in that regard. She actually did not take dragon when she had the chance. She's too busy killing enemy champions, so able to use her greed for padding her KDA against her, and I mean even now I was gonna say she was 332, which is like 5-3. That's not quite a 2.0 KDA, so my KDA was actually higher than hers, even though she has 3 times the kills I have, and now her KDA is just dropping even more. Now it's like 1.25 KDA, so it's even further away from 2.0. And now I'm at I'm past 3 KDA at the moment with a 9 divided by 3, so things are going much better for us. We're actually ahead on kills, so yeah, Vex picks up lots of kills, and I feel like Vex is kind of like a diver champion, and I think if you're already thinking about picking like a Kayn, for example, instead of being a diver champion yourself, an alternative is to be like a backline champion, which is what Senna is. When Senna can sort of support Vex, help her to be a better diver, essentially. I was trying to get a right click on somebody after hitting them with my R, but they backed off and wouldn't let me do that, which is kind of interesting. So I was really struggling to get some absolution stacks here, but that's alright. Anyway, looks like Nasus decides to help me out with this blue buff. I did use my Q on it. I wasn't sure if he was trying to Q it himself or not, but I really needed the gold, so I grabbed it with my own Q. Plus it's not like he's been, particularly friendly this game, so why should I let him Q it, right? I need the camp, I need the gold. Anyways, by this time I do have an Immortal Shield Bow and my Berserker's Greaves. I think Immortal Shield Bow is the best mythic that you could get on Senna if you are jungle. It's not worth it ever to buy Starax on her because of her pitifully low base attack damage at 18 is literally 50. So you're going to give yourself, 25 AD from Starax? That's not worth purchasing, I don't think. Like, if you were Kayn, for example, you actually get over 100. It's like, 120 something? Between 120 and 120, 30 AD. Like, that's good AD from Starax. Or wait, no. No, that's how much AD base he has at level 18. My bad. I got that backwards. But yeah, half of that is 60, right? 60 something? Yeah, I think it's 62, so he probably gets 124. Yeah, that sounds correct. It's 124 AD at level 18, so that means 62 AD from the Starax, because it's exactly 50% now, which means it's now easier to calculate. Also, it's higher than it was before. It was 40%, but it got buffed according to WikiLol, which I trust the WikiLol. They're very good about updating that, so I tend to use that for my item information. It's especially helpful because, I picked up another death here. Maybe we should rewind that. Anyways, the the like some of the places inside the client actually give you old information on items, like the post game lobby, for example. Yeah, there's just more Mundo messing me up. He's 7-1-3 right now, so he's 8-1. So he got an 8.0 KDA, which is obviously much higher than mine. So yeah, I sort of tell my team what's happening. It's just like Mundo is getting out of control, and we need to start actually dealing with him instead of letting him do whatever he wants. So my team takes it under advisement, and we start turning the game around again. I mean, it's like, I guess what I mean to say is uh, Mundo is picking up momentum, and if we're not careful, he's going to take the game back away from us. Like, we're still basically in the lead, right? Because we have 3 towers here taken. They have 2 towers here taken, and we are ahead on dragons. Those are the most important things that you want to look at. Some people will look at kill counts, but that's not important. Kill counts is designed to give you an overall impression of total team gold difference, but as you can see, total team gold difference is like minimal. So even though we're ahead by 3 kills, that's not important. Anyway, I'm too far away to be of help with this dragon, so we just kind of let them have their first one. There's 5 of them there and just 2 of us, and if I had been there, there would have only been 3, and so that would have been suicidal. Senna's not really a good dragon stealer, so there's not really any point in attempting it. If you're Kane, on the other hand, you'd be a really good stealer. And I think Lulu is a pretty decent stealer. She's not at the level of Kane, but in my first Lulu game, I was able to steal 1 dragon, so... Or I should say my first Lulu jungled game. So she obviously can't be garbage at it if I was able to do it my first try, so... Obviously, she's not in the new levels of good at it, but I'd say she's good enough to attempt it sometimes. Whereas Senna, like, I generally probably wouldn't. At least not until she gets high enough level, anyway. I wasn't sure how that siege was going, and I was, like, wary of wasting my time. So I was going to steal their camp, and then I realized the chance for me to, like, help us secure the tower by chasing them off of it, and so I used my ultimate for that, and then went back to the camp. You know, the great thing about Senna is if people take your large monster, I kind of don't really care. Like, I'm gonna get this soul either way. Like, it's not that big of a deal. At least once I, like, have, like, my main... Like, as long as I get, like, 2 items, maybe, then I'm fine, you know? Like, something to sort of, like, counter the enemies, which in this case, the Mortal Reminder is fantastic against Mundo, because it nullifies any armor that he buys, as well as partially nullifies his healing. Well, I should say partially nullifies both in any case. Actually, I had another pretty interesting Senna game where we had a Karma helping us out, and that game I think went even better than this one did. Now that I remember, I think my KDA might have been kind of bad that match. No, wait, no, I'm thinking of it different. Wait, what am I thinking of? Maybe that game did not get recorded in the match history for some reason. But I had like 7 kills, I remember. Anyway, I ended up sacrificing myself, but we took the tower and killed 4 of the enemies, so I suppose it was worth it. See, I'm like 3-5-13, which isn't terrible. So the match is almost over. I had a Senna jungle loss as well. but I think it was only the one loss. I think it was when I was using Fleet Footwork and I was on red team. So I had a overeager mid lane. I think it was like Cassidon, perhaps. I'm not sure who it was, but in any case, I had to tell him, whatever aggressive play that he was making. I guess I don't remember what champion it was, but I was telling him, I don't do that much damage. My keystone is for sustain. It's not for damage. So if I had taken lethal tempo, though, then I definitely would have been able to pick up the kill that you tried to give me. Basically, he just was biting off more than he could chew, expecting us to be able to quickly 2 versus 1 the enemy, but he ended up dying instead. But yeah, that's one thing that some people don't realize. I've been seeing a streamer playing lots of Gen lately, and they just don't realize how fleet footwork does not improve their offense. And sometimes stuff like Dark Harvest or whatever would be helpful. Anyway, so that was one of the matches. And of course, we had a loss. And then I guess, maybe the game where I had Karma didn't get saved. Because it definitely would not have been this game. Yeah, the match history is really weird sometimes. So this was me just practicing. Oh wait, no, I was support maybe. No, it wasn't this match. It was just me trying out Heartsteel. This was a terrible game. That did not go over very well. But no, I think I was support though. Let's see here. I think I was support with the Karma. Hey, this was a Rod of Ages game. This was a really interesting match. Look at the graphs here. Look at this. The Karma had the highest damage in the game, and then I had the highest damage on our team. But there was only one person. But there was one person that had more damage than me on the enemy team. Everybody else was less than me. So I was top 3 damage by building Rod of Ages first. Is kind of interesting, right? And then I had a couple of lethality items too. The Rod of Ages is not built for damage. It's not. It's built for sustain. So, but the interesting thing about this was, I was just telling people, your items, building damage items is not the only way you deal damage to the enemy, right? Look at this Karma. She has 40 ability power. That's it. Everything else is just a bunch of defense. She's got a Moonstone Renewer as her sole damage item. Have you heard anybody say that before? I've actually done that with Maokai, believe it or not. I would buy a Moonstone on Maokai as my only damage item. And sometimes that actually gives me the highest damage in the game, just like it did for Karma. So it's not to be underestimated. The ability to just stick on the enemies and continuously bug them and stay alive yourself. The damage can really rack up eventually. This was a pretty interesting game. I feel like I found an offensive domination keystone that I kind of like. I don't necessarily get max value from this thing often, but I feel like it doesn't matter. I feel like it's valuable enough. Look at this, only 62% attacks landed. I only landed 47 attacks made with extra attack speed. But what I like so much about this is it triggers the Duskblade just a little bit sooner. And then also, it allows you to just switch over to using your W a little bit sooner, theoretically, if you want to. I mean, you don't have to, but you should be right-clicking anybody after you queue them and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I've been using Comet a lot on Kayn in the past. And although it's true it does help me transform at a pretty quick pace, I feel like it's more important to just be patient. Just wait for the transformation. I don't care which transformation I get anyways, so if it's a little slower, it's not that big of a deal. And besides which, Hail of Blades can sometimes give me more damage in instances anyways. Another thing to think about is Hail of Blades, uh, another rune I've been taking a lot is Overheal. I like Overheal, there's nothing wrong with it on Kayn. But if I'm going Hail of Blades, I think it's wrong to take Overheal. Reason being is because then I miss out on Celerity and Water Walking. These are super good runes for Kayn and are part of the reason why I chose to take Arcane Comet or sometimes Airy on Kayn. Airy would like guarantee the damage, whereas Comet is just maybe it'll happen. It'll probably happen if you hit him with your W first, but if you hit him with the Q, probably not. So, yeah. But the interesting thing about the Arcane Comet is it did allow a sort of a mind game effect with the enemy. Like they move out of the comet, and because of that, you know exactly where to aim your W. So I actually could succeed very well with Comet on Kane. And if you guys are having trouble landing your W's, consider trying that out. It's not terrible, but I like the extra movement speed because it allows me to land my actual attacks as people are running away from me with my Halo Blades. Because like, what's the point of having attack speed if they just run away right away, right? So I think it's a pretty good combo. Anyway, I'm gonna have to practice this some more. This was I was also Red Cane here, but so here's what happened. Normally I wouldn't take this kind of build on Red Cane, but I think on Cane, like, or any champion really, it's important to have extra build paths you can go in case you get countered. See, check this out. The enemy had a Poppy. So Poppy uses her W, and then your Q gets interrupted. You can end up doing 0 damage with your Q potentially. Why? I remember she was messing me up real bad early, and then around the time when we were fighting over bottom lane Scuttle, like trying to vie for position over the dragon or whatever, I remember testing it out, my theory, because like I wanted to see if Poppy was accidentally countering me or if she knew she was counterpicking me. And so I I tried sort of like just chasing after her normally and then using Q when I get really, really, really close to her. And I think she had less ping than me because she used W right after I used my Q and I didn't damage her. I was like, wow, I was so close to her. She must have had super good reaction. Um, so yeah, because she waited for me to use my Q. So that was pretty amazing. So I think she was an East Coast gamer. So that was kind of cool. Anyway, but so she can stun me. So I picked up an Edge of Night and an Immortal Shield bow. With these, we were able to give myself some shielding as well as remove some of their stuns or whatever. So and I was actually getting an Navori Quick Blades as my second item here. As for this game, I got a Dusk Blade first. I don't remember which item I got here first. I don't think it matters too much. But anyway, I got a Dusk Blade first, and then I picked up the Serpent Fang because I wanted to counter the shielding from this guy in particular, because he gets a really big shielding. So that was somewhat helpful. I don't know how helpful it was, but then I grabbed Collector because I figured it would be useful against Akali, because leaving her alive with a sliver of HP you don't want to do. So I grabbed Collector to counter her as well. And I don't remember when I got Steel Caps, but it was definitely like after this Fang. I got it after these two items. And then After these 4 items, I ended up getting Edge of Night, and then my final item was Styrax. I don't think I actually got to use the Styrax Lifeline, but I'm not sure. Maybe I did. Anyways, but yeah, we kind of stomped them at the end because our Zyro is like completely out of control. I remember like ganking Relia, but she was able to ghost away. I'd actually contemplated taking Ghost, but I don't think it would have got much done for me because of the Poppy. So I think I'm not sure, but I feel like Kane can take Ghost or Flash depending on the matchup. I think they're both fine. Let's go check out the Lulu replay, and then we'll call it a video, I guess. Actually, I don't know why I'm talking so much. I'm not even sure if this recording is working. I changed some settings. It was like trying to record the FLV format, and it wasn't playing in VLC, so I changed it to MP4. So I'm assuming that's gonna fix it, but I don't know. I've never recorded this program before, so maybe it's not even working now. Anyways, so I already recorded this Lulu game, so I'm recording it again. So if this doesn't work, I need to record it a third time. At that point, I'll probably just give up. So at the beginning of the game, Graves and somebody else, I don't remember who, was pinging the fact that I had Smite and I was a Lulu. So it was kind of interesting. They were wondering about that. Anyways, this was a lethal tempo Lulu. Not sure if that's the best choice or not, but it seems like it works out okay. I don't know if it's worth it to take E at level 2. It probably is not. I was a little bit behind on my clear speed, but not as much as I was on Senna. So I think if I picked up my W, then her clear speed would be faster. I'm actually not sure whether the Q first or W first is better. Which honestly, her E is not even all that slow. I mean, it does add some damage. It's just not sustained damage, it's burst. So I don't know. I'll have to do some testing with some. Have to like do some time checks. See, look at this. It's taking me. I'm a little over 340 before I do a full clear, and that's not even including the scuttle. So it's definitely not as fast as whatever Graves is doing, right? Although Graves did skip his that camp though, so actually maybe we're about the same speed. But either way, it's much slower than my Kane clear speed. Like, it's not even close. Kane clears like at 3 minutes. Like the 6 camps, He's not like 40 seconds late like Lulu is. So, but that's one thing you have to keep in mind is if you do want to pick an enchanter jungler, there's a pretty good chance your clear speed is going to be slower than average, and you're going to have to be okay with that if you want to decide to pick one of these picks in jungle. I think that's fine. So yeah, with some more practice, I might be able to, get that time scrunched down a lot more. Practice and experimentation. That's what it's going to take, I guess. Now, so this game was kind of interesting because the enemy ended up conceding 15 minutes in. I actually made a mistake relatively early. I mean, I got the first blood at bottom. That was partially due to the fact that Galio got a pretty easy taunt off on Ophelios. I think I might have still gotten the kill even without that taunt, but that taunt did make it safer for me to then rotate over and help kill Twisted Fate. So started off with 1-0-1, very strong, while, Graves, while being, 5 minions ahead of me according to the scoreboard. He's, well, now he's 1, but he's about to jump ahead again. Anyways, yeah, there's another 4. What was I going to say? like he didn't partake in the kills and assists though. So now he is able to pick up this first dragon because of I'm actually setting up Herald. So there was this really interesting movement that happened. Twisted Fate ended up getting. I'm actually doing a terrible job of showing you guys what's happening, but I reviewed it recently. So Volibear was scouting the scuttle. I think he was probably tempted to kill it. But when I started attacking him, he just immediately ran away. But then he started like thinking about ganking me with who's this guy? Twisted Fate. I think I was calling him Rise earlier. Anyways, so Twisted Fate comes along and Shen is like, yeah, I'm not gonna let you two gang up on Lulu. And so anyways, they were doing a lot of dancing. I was like, there's too much dancing. This is wasting time. I'm leaving. And Volley Bear's like, I'm leaving too. But then, Shen and Mordekaiser jump on Twisted Fate and he dies. So that was fun. uh, at some point, I didn't manage to die. I don't really exactly remember how. Oh no, it's because I was recalling. Because so I was helping with the Herald. I was helping Shen get some Herald plating at middle. And so I was protecting the Herald, and while I was doing that, I was taking a lot of damage from Twisted Fate. So I ran back here and recalled here. And unfortunately, Evelyn had reached level 6 recently and ran up and surprise killed me. So there wasn't really anything I could do about it other than foresee that as a possibility and actually, recall next to the tower instead. But anyway, that was my mistake. That's why I died for the first time. Oh, wait a minute. What killed me the second time? Oh, it was Evelyn again. Yeah, I remember. Let's keep rewinding, I guess. Where was that? There we go. So basically, Neela got killed, and then I started chasing her, but then I didn't realize how fed she was. Because look, she has Sorcerer's Shoes and then a bunch of AP. She has Dark Seal, as well as Frostfang and Bandleglass Mirror. So I just wasn't prepared for that level of burst from her, and then she also used her ultimate on me too, which I didn't really expect to do as much damage as it did, but anyway, I was just being super dumb there, and chasing too far, so that was my bad. Anyway, so I get back to doing some camps, and then I do remember picking up like a couple of kills and an assist at some point, and then the game just kind of ends. So we should probably slow it down and just put on directed camera, I guess. Just watch it because I'm doing a terrible job of directing the camera at the moment. So I end up being a little bit concerned because I know a fight is happening. So I make a pretty bad ultimate, but it could have been much worse. It still healed me. And I still started taking damage relatively soon. So it was not wasted, except for the fact that it didn't really slow the enemy or knock them up. So yeah, suboptimal, but not as bad as it could have been. See, and I'm at 1, 2, 3 at the moment. Oh, maybe I misremembered. Maybe it was 2, 2, 3. So I got like 2 assists and 1 kills or something. Anyway, alright, so they've got the first dragon, but then this is what I was talking about here, where we end up stealing it. So I tell my team that we have a plant here, but then Evelyn comes here. She's gonna stop me from using the plant with my teammate, but I still have my flash at this point, so I am able to flash into the pit. So, and my team, of course, knows that I have my flash, so we jump in there together, and I'm able to steal it. And then, of course, she gets away, but and the rest of their team gets away as well. Galio shows up and manages to taunt this guy, so he's kind of screwed at this point. And then the game ends. I start to do Herald, and Evelyn shows up. She like hangs out in this bush while they're voting or whatever. She could have checked Herald, but she didn't. There's not much else to say. I guess we can watch this fight. Maybe we should rewind it or something. He misses his E, and then Volibear decides to jump on him. Mordekaiser takes lots of damage, but he can just turn on his shield and then smack him with the Q, and then it's fine. Groovy. He doesn't even have a finished item yet, while this guy has a Nashers. I think that's a level difference, right? He's like level 12, and Volibear isn't. Yeah, he's 2 levels behind him, so even though he has an item advantage, it doesn't matter. So that's one thing you got to keep in mind. If you kill minions and then run off to go gank and then do the same thing again, it's interesting because you could still be a lane bully, but if you're missing some minions, or even just kills, if you're missing kills, like look at this, he's got 5 kills and 1 death. Like, you don't even have to kill minions, right, to get a level advantage. Like, you can just stand around and just keep yourself safe. That's basically what Mordekaiser was doing. He was helping keeping his team safe too by team working, which is something we didn't see from some people in some previous matches. Anyways, alright, that's enough of that. So, yeah, this has been a review of some of the games I've been playing recently. And, oh yeah, another thing. I've been experimenting with different jungle items, the different colors, I should say. This particular game, I was using the red jungle item, and it was really effective for Kayn, so I'm going to continue to take that. Whether or not I take a red for Senna, I don't know. But so far, I'm enjoying green on her just fine. But red might be better, so I might switch to red or something. We'll see. I tried blue on somebody, I'm not even sure who, but I haven't really liked it, so I might continue to not use blue. Anyway. Well, I guess that's all there's to talk about. I've got like 3 enchanters now that I can play in jungle. The Lulu, the Senna, and the Taric, and they're all doing pretty good. Senna is probably the least well performing out of the 3 of them, but given enough practice, or whatever, I'm sure it'll be fine. Anyways, I might end up retiring her if I rank high enough and it stops working, but we'll see. Anyway.